stop for a moment. Don't scroll. Don't look away. Because if you open this video tonight, it wasn't an accident. You've been feeling something strange lately, haven't you? A weight on your chest that is no name. A restlessness that wakes you up at 3 in the morning, even when nothing is wrong. A quiet voice inside, almost a whisper, telling you that something is shifting, but you can't explain what. I want you to know something before we go any further. That feeling isn't anxiety. It isn't your imagination. It isn't stress from work or the way of getting older or anything broken inside you. What you're feeling right now is a message, a frequency, a signal that the angels of light have been trying to deliver for weeks, maybe months. And tonight, in the next 37 minutes, you're going to understand exactly what they've been preparing you for. Because something is about to change in your life. And by the end of this video, you'll know what. Let me ask you something honest. Have you ever walked into a room and instantly felt that something was off? You couldn't see it. You couldn't hear it. But your whole body knew. Your shoulders tensed. Your breathing got shorter. And without a single word being spoken, you understood that something had just happened in that space before you arrived. That's not paranoia. That's not your imagination playing tricks. That is the oldest form of communication human beings have ever known. Long before we had words. Long before we had language. Long before we had names for God or angels or anything sacred, we had this. The ability to feel, to sense, to know things before they were ever spoken. And somewhere along the way, between the noise of bills and the demands of jobs we didn't choose and relationships that asked us to shrink ourselves to fit in, we forgot how to listen to that voice. We started calling it stress. We started calling it overthinking. We started medicating it, distracting it, drowning it in noise, in television, in screens, in another glass of wine on a Tuesday night. But the voice never left. It just learned to whisper louder. And the strangest thing about being 30, 40, 50 years old today in this country, in this exact moment in history, is that you've reached an age where the whisper is becoming impossible to ignore. You can feel it. Right now, as you're hearing my voice, there's a part of you that is so tired of pretending you don't notice the signs. The number 1111 on the clock, 3 days in a row. The cardinal that lands on your fence the morning after you cried yourself to sleep. The song that plays on the radio the exact moment you were thinking about someone you haven't seen in years. The dream you had last week that felt more real than your waking life. You've been telling yourself it's coincidence. You've been telling yourself it's nothing. But deep down, in a place you don't talk about with anyone you know that something has been trying to reach you. And here's what most people in this country were never told. The angels of light don't come with thunder. They don't come with miracles you can post on social media. They don't shake the room or rearrange the furniture. They come quietly, patiently, like someone who's known you your entire life, sitting on the edge of your bed at 3 in the morning, waiting for you to finally turn your face toward them. The shift you're feeling right now, this discomfort, this tension, this sense that something is closing while something else is opening, that is them. That is the moment they've been preparing for. Because before any real change happens in a person's life, before the new chapter begins, there's always a season of strange energy. A season where the old self starts to feel like a coat that doesn't fit anymore. Where the things that used to comfort you suddenly feel hollow. Where the friends, the routines, the goals, the dreams you held for 20 years start to feel like they belong to someone else. That's not depression. That's not a midlife crisis. That's not you falling apart. That is you being prepared. And I need you to hear this part carefully, because most people miss it. The discomfort isn't the punishment. The discomfort is the doorway. Every single person you've ever admired, every soul who walked through real transformation, every grandparent who became wise, every friend who finally got their life together, they all passed through a moment exactly like the one you're standing in tonight. A moment that felt like nothing was happening, when in reality, everything was being rearranged behind the scenes. And the angels, the ones who have been with you since the day you took your first breath, are working right now, quietly, carefully, moving pieces you cannot see, removing people from your path you didn't even know were holding you back, closing doors you've been knocking on for years, not because they're cruel, but because they love you enough to not let you settle for less than what's coming. And tonight, I want to show you exactly what that looks like. There's a question I want you to sit with for a moment. When was the last time you felt truly at peace? Not happy. Happy is loud. Happy is a vacation, a glass of champagne, a Saturday morning with the windows open. I'm not talking about happy. I'm talking about peace. That deep, quiet stillness in your chest that says, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. For most people listening to me right now, the answer is uncomfortable because it's been a long time. Maybe years, maybe decades. Maybe you can't even remember the last time. And that's not your fault. The world we built in this country, the schedule we keep, the way we measure ourselves, the constant comparison, the noise that follows us from the moment we open our eyes until the moment we collapse into bed at night. It was never designed for peace. It was designed for production. It was designed to keep you running so fast you never had to face the silence. But the angels, they live in the silence. They speak in the silence. And the only reason you're starting to feel them now, the only reason this energy is finally breaking through, is because something inside you has finally gotten quiet enough to receive it. Think about that for a second. Something in your life has slowed down. Maybe it was a loss. Maybe it was a disappointment. Maybe it was just exhaustion, the kind of exhaustion that no amount of sleep can fix. Whatever it was, it cracked something open in you. And through that crack, the light is finally getting in. I want to tell you about the symptoms, because nobody talks about the symptoms. There are signs, real, physical, undeniable signs, that show up when the angels of light begin moving in your life. And once you recognize them, you'll never confuse them with anything else again. The first one is sleep. Your sleep changes. You start waking up between 3 and 4 in the morning, almost every night, for no reason at all. You don't have to use the bathroom. You're not having nightmares. You just open your eyes and the world is quiet and you can't go back. That window of time, between 3 and 4, has been called the witching hour for centuries. But the truth is gentler than that. That's the hour when the veil is thin. That's the hour when the angels can speak to you most clearly, because your mind has finally let go of all the noise from the day. The second sign is your relationships. Suddenly, people you've known for years start to feel different. You love them. You don't wish them harm, but conversations feel shallow. Things they say start to bother you in ways they never did before. You find yourself pulling back, canceling plans, choosing solitude over company, and you feel guilty about it, like there's something wrong with you. There isn't. The frequency you're vibrating at is changing, and not everyone in your life is meant to come with you into the next chapter. The third sign is appetite, not just for food, although that often changes too. I mean appetite for life. Things that used to thrill you suddenly feel flat. Shows you used to binge feel pointless. Conversations that used to fill your day feel like a waste of breath. This isn't depression, even though it can look like it from the outside. This is a soul-cleaning house. This is your spirit making room for something new by gently removing the taste for things that no longer feed you. And the fourth sign, the one that most people miss completely, is memory. You start remembering things from years ago. Random moments. A summer afternoon when you were 12. A conversation with your grandmother that you hadn't thought about in 30 years. A version of yourself you forgot existed. The angels do this on purpose. They are showing you who you were before the world told you who to be. They are reminding you of the original, the version of you that came into this world full of light, before life taught you to dim yourself. And here's the part that will stay with you tonight. They are not bringing those memories back to make you sad. They are bringing them back because you are about to need them. The you that's coming next, the one that's being built in the silence right now, is closer to that original version than anyone in your current life would recognize. And that, more than anything else, is why everything feels strange. But I'd be lying to you if I said this process was easy, because it isn't. There's a part of this nobody warns you about. And if you don't understand it, you'll spend years fighting the very thing that came to set you free. I'm talking about the resistance, the part of you that fights back. See, when the angels start to move in a person's life, when the energy begins to shift, there's an old self that doesn't want to die. And make no mistake, that's exactly what's happening. A version of you, the one who learned to survive, the one who built walls The one who said yes when she meant no. The one who stayed in the marriage 3 years too long. The one who took the job because it was safe. The one who made himself smaller so other people wouldn't feel uncomfortable. That version of you is being asked to step down. And he won't go quietly. He'll try to convince you that you're losing your mind. He'll whisper, "Who do you think you are?" He'll bring up every failure you've ever had. He'll tell you that the people in your life will leave if you change. He'll remind you of how old you are, how tired you are, how late it is in the game to start over. And that voice that's been running the show for the last 20 or 30 years, will sound exactly like your own. That's the trap. That's why so many people feel the energy, sense the shift, get the signs, and then go right back to sleep. Because the resistance is loud and the angels are quiet. The resistance argues with logic, and the angels speak in feelings. The resistance promises safety, and the angels promise truth. And we live in a country, in a culture, that has trained us since childhood to choose safety over truth every single time. Look at the people around you. How many of them are truly free? How many of them are really living and not just surviving until Friday? How many of them, if you ask them honestly, would tell you they love their life? Most of them chose the safe voice. Most of them silenced the whisper a long time ago. And they're not bad people. They're just tired. They're just scared. They're just doing what they were taught. But the fact that you're still listening to me right now, the fact that something inside you said, "I need to hear this tonight," that means something. That means the whisper hasn't been silenced in you yet. That means the angels still have a way in. And the next part of this conversation is the most important, because I'm going to tell you what they want from you. They don't want your prayers, not the way you've been taught to pray. They don't want your perfection. They don't want you to suddenly become a different person, with a different job, in a different city, with a different face. What they want is much simpler than that. And much harder. They want you to stop arguing with the truth. That's it. That's the whole assignment. There's something in your life right now that you already know is finished. There's a relationship, a habit, a job, a friendship, a story you've been telling yourself, a fear you've been carrying for decades. And you already know, in the part of you that doesn't lie, that it's done. The angels aren't asking you to fix it. They're not asking you to figure out what comes next. They're just asking you to stop pretending you don't know. Because as long as you keep pretending, the door stays closed. The change can't come through. The new chapter can't begin. The blessings have been lined up for you. The people, the opportunities, the version of yourself you were always meant to become. All of it is waiting on the other side of one single moment of honesty with yourself. And here's the strange part. The angels have already done their work. The path is already cleared. The doors on the other side are already open. The only thing keeping you in the hallway is the lie you keep telling yourself about the room you're standing in. And tonight, in the quiet of wherever you are right now, with my voice as your only company, I think you already know which lie I'm talking about. You don't have to say it out loud. You don't have to share it with anyone. You just have to stop pretending you don't see it. Now I want to tell you what happens after you stop pretending. Because nobody talks about this part either, and it's the part that catches everyone off guard. The first thing you'll feel isn't relief. It isn't joy. It isn't peace. The first thing you'll feel is grief. A strange, quiet grief that doesn't seem to have a clear cause. You'll find yourself crying in the car, in the parking lot of the grocery store, with the engine off and your hands on the wheel, and no idea why the tears are coming. You'll feel sad about things that haven't happened yet. You'll mourn versions of yourself you've already outgrown. You'll grieve the life you thought you'd have by now, the children you thought you'd raise differently, the marriage you thought would feel different, the career you thought would mean more, the body you used to have, the hope you used to carry without effort. And it will feel, for a moment, like everything is falling apart. But what's actually happening is the opposite. The grief is the proof that something inside you finally let go. The grief is the old self leaving. And just like at any funeral, the people who love that version of you have to be allowed to say goodbye. So let yourself cry. Let yourself sit with the weight of it. Don't rush past it the way this culture trains us to rush past everything uncomfortable. The angels are not afraid of your tears. They were never afraid of your tears. In fact, your tears are one of the most powerful languages you have. They are prayers without words. They are the soul speaking when the mouth has gone silent. And in those moments, when you feel the most alone, the most lost, the most uncertain about everything you used to be sure of, that is exactly when they are closest to you, closer than your own breath, closer than the heartbeat in your chest. Sitting beside you in the parking lot, walking next to you through the empty house at midnight, reading every word of the journal entry you'll never show anyone. They are not somewhere far away in the sky. They are not waiting for you to deserve them. They have always been here. The change you start to feel after you stop pretending isn't external at first. The job doesn't change overnight. The relationship doesn't suddenly heal. The bank account doesn't fill up by morning. What changes first is the inside. You start noticing your own reactions are different. Things that used to send you into a spiral now feel small. Conversations that would have ruined your week now slide off your shoulders. You start saying no without an explanation. You start saying yes to things you would have made excuses to avoid. You walk slower. You eat slower. You actually taste your coffee for the first time in years. The world hasn't changed. You have, and that is when the angels really begin their work. Because once your inside is aligned, the outside has no choice but to follow. This is not magical thinking. This is not wishful nonsense. This is the most ancient law of human existence. What you are inside, you eventually meet outside. The people who match the new frequency start showing up. The opportunities that match the new vibration start finding you. Doors you've been knocking on for years suddenly open without you even reaching for the handle. And the doors you used to be obsessed with opening, you walk right past them and don't even look back. The job offer that comes out of nowhere. The phone call from someone you haven't heard from in 15 years. The book that falls open to the exact page you needed. The stranger in line at the coffee shop who says the one thing you needed to hear. These aren't coincidences. These are the angels of light, doing what they've been doing all along. But now you're finally aligned enough to see them. Now you're finally clear enough to receive them. And the most beautiful part, the part one want you to hold on to tonight, is this: none of this is being done to you. All of it is being done for you. And the version of you who is on the other side of this change is going to look back at this exact week, this exact moment, with my voice in your ears, and recognize it as the night something finally cracked open. The night the resistance got tired. The night the soul got loud enough to be heard. I want you to think about something that might surprise you. This isn't the first time the angels have tried to reach you. Not even close. If you really sit with your own life, with the honesty I've been asking you to bring tonight, you'll start to remember there were other moments. Years ago, maybe even decades ago, a summer when something in you almost shifted, a quiet Sunday afternoon when you heard the whisper for the first time and almost listened, a night after a breakup or a funeral or a bad diagnosis, when the world went still and you felt a presence in a room with you that you couldn't explain. They were already there. They've always been already there. So why now? Why this moment? Why is this video reaching you tonight and not 5 years ago when you might have thought you needed it more? Because back then you weren't ready. You were still in love with the idea of who you were trying to become. You still believed the lie that effort alone would build the life you wanted. You still thought that if you just worked harder, smiled wider, loved more carefully, kept your head down a little longer, the universe would finally give you what you were owed. But that's not how any of this works. And somewhere between then and now, life has been quietly teaching you that. The disappointments, the dreams that didn't come true, the relationships that ended even though you did everything right, the plans that fell apart at the last minute, even though they made perfect sense on paper. Every single one of those moments wasn't a failure. It was a lesson. It was a chisel. The world has been chiseling away at you for years, gently breaking down the version of yourself that wasn't real, exposing the version of yourself that always was. And now, finally, there's enough of the real you exposed for the angels to actually reach you. They couldn't speak to who you were pretending to be. They could only speak to who you actually are. That's why now. That's why tonight. That's why this voice, this video, these words. The timing is not random. The timing has been being arranged for years. And what's coming next, what's about to end of your life, has also been being arranged for years. The angels work in long arcs. They don't rush. They don't panic. They are not bound by your schedule, your bills, your impatience, your prayers that ask for things on Tuesday. They are weaving something for you that takes more than a week to build. And every single thing you've been through, every loss, every betrayal, every dead end, every wasted year, was a thread in that weaving. None of it was wasted. None of it was punishment. None of it happened because you weren't enough, or because you did something wrong, or because God was angry with you. It happened because love, real love, the kind that comes from the source itself, never gives you the small thing you ask for when there's a bigger thing waiting on the other side of your patience. And the bigger thing, the thing that's coming, the thing the angels have been preparing in silence, isn't necessarily what you imagine. It's almost never the windfall. It's almost never the one big dramatic answer to prayer. It's something quieter, something steadier, something that will hold up over the rest of your life. A peace that doesn't depend on your circumstances. A sense of self that doesn't bend when other people withdraw their approval. A relationship that doesn't require you to disappear inside it. A purpose that doesn't burn you out trying to earn it. A version of love that finally feels like home. And when you're standing in it, 3 months from now, 6 months from now, a year from now, you're going to look back at the discomfort you're feeling tonight and realize it was the most sacred thing that ever happened to you. Because without it, none of what comes next would have been possible. The pain wasn't punishment. The pain was the price of admission. And you've already paid it. Now, all that's left is to walk through. So if everything I've said tonight has reached something true in you, if some part of this conversation has felt less like a video and more like someone finally saying out loud what you've been feeling alone for months, I want to ask something of you. Stay with me. If you're still here with me at this point in the video, I want to invite you to subscribe to this channel and walk with us day after day. We're not here to entertain you. We're here for the people who are waking up, for the souls in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, who are tired of the noise and ready for the truth. Every video we release is for someone exactly like you, sitting somewhere quiet tonight, finally listening to the voice they've been ignoring for years. Hit subscribe. Leave a comment if any of this is landing, because the messages are only going to get clearer from here, and I don't want you to miss what's coming next. Now, with that said, let's go back to the deeper part of this conversation, because there's still something I haven't told you, and it might be the most important thing of all. The change that's coming into your life will not announce itself the way you expect. It won't come with fireworks. It won't come with a dramatic phone call or a mysterious letter in the mail. It will come quietly, in moments that almost feel small, and you have to be paying attention or you'll miss it. The morning you wake up and realize, for the first time in years, you don't dread the day. The afternoon you catch yourself laughing in a way you haven't laughed since you were a child. The evening you sit at the kitchen table, alone, and feel something close to gratitude for silence. These are the moments. These are the signs that the shift has already begun. And the angels, they will not interrupt those moments to take credit. They never do. They prefer to stay behind the curtain. They prefer to let you believe you did it yourself. Because part of what they're building in you is the trust that you are, and have always been, capable of holding the life that's coming. That's the gift they want you to walk away with. Not dependence on signs. Not addiction to spiritual drama. Not a need to be rescued. They want you to walk forward in the quiet certainty that you are loved, you are guided, you are not alone, and you never have to chase the life that's already been promised to you. The walking is enough. The honesty is enough. The willingness to stop pretending is enough. There is no perfect ritual. There is no special prayer. There is no magic phrase that unlocks the door. The only thing that has ever been required, and the only thing that will ever be required, is your yes. Your simple, exhausted, scared, half-broken, fully human yes. Yes to seeing what's already in front of you. Yes to letting go of what was never meant to stay. Yes to the version of you the angels have been waiting all your life to meet. And every single morning, when you open your eyes, that yes gets to be made fresh. You don't have to do it perfectly. You don't have to do it forever. You just have to do it today. And when tomorrow comes, you do it again. That's the whole practice. That's the whole secret. There is no other one. The people you watch walk through real transformation in this life, The ones who came out wiser, gentler, freer on the other side of their hardest seasons. They didn't have a method. They didn't have a guru. They didn't have a course. They just stopped arguing. They just stopped pretending. They just kept saying yes, one quiet day at a time, until the life they were promised finally caught up to them. And it will catch up to you. Maybe not tomorrow. Maybe not next week. But it is coming. It has been coming for a very long time. And the only thing standing between you and it now is one more night of pretending you don't know it's already on its way. So here we are, the end of this conversation. Or maybe just the beginning of another one. The one you'll have with yourself after you turn this video off and the room goes quiet again. I want you to notice something before we close. Notice how you feel right now, compared to how you felt 37 minutes ago. Notice the breath. It's slower, isn't it? Notice the chest. It's softer. Notice the place behind your eyes that's been holding tension for longer than you can remember. Something has loosened there. You may not be able to name it, and you don't have to. The angels have already named it for you. They've been naming it the whole time. There's an old truth that gets passed between people who have walked through the kind of season you're walking through now. They say that when the soul is finally ready to change, the universe doesn't send a storm. It sends a stranger, a voice, a song, a video at midnight when you should have been asleep an hour ago. Something small, something quiet, something just personal enough that you can't quite explain it to anyone else without sounding strange. Tonight, that voice was mine, but the message was never from me. I'm just the one who was sent to deliver it, the real sender. The one who has been waiting longer than you could imagine for you to listen, is closer to you right now than the screen you're looking at. They are in the room. They have always been in the room. And the only thing they want from you tonight, before you go to sleep, before you turn off the light, is for you to stop arguing with what you already know. That's it. That's the whole message. That's the whole video. That's the whole 37 minutes wrapped up into a single sentence. Stop arguing with what you already know. Now, before you go, I want to ask 3 small things of you. They matter more than you think. The first is to subscribe to this channel, if you haven't already. Not for me, for the version of you that's going to need another voice like this one 2 weeks from now, when the resistance comes back to test you. We're here every day, and the messages will be waiting. The second is to share this video with 5 people. I know that sounds like a lot, but somewhere in your contact list, in your family, in your circle, in your old friend you haven't talked to in years, there are 5 souls who are sitting in the same silence you were sitting in tonight. 5 people who feel the same energy. 5 people who need to hear that they're not crazy, they're not falling apart, and they're not alone. You don't have to explain it. Just send it. Let the angels handle the rest. The third is to leave me a comment below. Not a polite one, not a generic one, a real one. Tell me what part of this conversation reached you. Tell me what you're walking through tonight. Tell me what you'd like the next video to be about. What question is sitting heavy on your chest? What answer you've been trying to find for years? I read them. I really do. And the topics of the next videos come directly from the souls who write to me here. So don't be quiet now. Not after coming this far. Use your voice. It's been silent for too long anyway. And then, when you've done all 3, I want you to do one more thing. Close your eyes, just for a moment, wherever you are, and take a single breath, a slow one, deep enough that you can feel it in your stomach. And in that breath, without saying out loud, without making a big deal of it, just let yourself agree with what you already know, the thing you've been avoiding, the thing you've been pretending not to see. Just let yourself agree. That's all. That's the whole prayer. That's the whole shift. That's the whole reason this video found you tonight. Something is about to change. You felt it before you ever pressed play. And now you know what it is. So go. Sleep well. Walk softly tomorrow. And remember, the light has already been with you. The light is already with you. The light will always be with you. Good night.